So what are the hidden disruptors? And they do all add up. It's why I use this image, because it kind of feels like there's a bunch of different things that this poor guy's having to carry as he's moving through life. What are the hidden disruptors? Sleep debt is probably the biggest disruptor. These are things that are going to throw off your blood sugar rhythm more than anything else. Sleep debt. You need to sleep well on Tuesday to do the biochemical work of balancing sugars on Wednesday. If you don't sleep well on Tuesday, you're going to drive issues with blood sugars on Wednesday. Luke, I haven't slept in 30 years. I know. We're going to talk about how to get there, and it's one of the biggest pieces of today's class. Another disruptor that may not be super obvious, or perhaps it is if you're in my circles, chronic stress or your total burden of stress. Everything added on that triggers that stress response inside of your bodacious bod. Because this burden of stress triggers your body to release cortisol, which frees more glucose into your streams and insulin, and eventually leads to insulin resistance, potentially, and a bunch of other things. So what might trigger this chronic stress response? I think of it in 3 terms. I talk about external stress, emotional stress, and internal stress. External stress is the regular stress you think about. Can't afford my mortgage this month. My cell phone bill is expensive. Oh my gosh, I forgot to call my boss last Friday like he asked for. Is he going to fire me on Monday morning when I get to work? Those kinds of things. God, I hope not. That's external stress. We got to make jokes somewhere. The emotional stress is anything to do with relationships. I live in an abusive relationship. I actually don't. My husband is lovely. But that would be one of those scenarios. I shouldn't make light about that. I apologize. As I said it, I realized what I was saying. Another stressor of relationships. Do you have difficult relationships with coworkers, with family members? Are you looking after an elder who has a lot of special needs or appointments? Do you have a neurodivergent child or somebody in their teens going through mental health struggles? Yeah, that's going to add to your burden of stress as well. And then there's the internal burden of stress. That's actually where the nutrition piece can do a really great job. And that's actually the way in that we're doing it today. A lot of the work we're doing today is going to help address that internal burden of stress. So that internal burden of stress is in anybody who's struggled with blood sugar balancing issues for a long time, inflammation, chronic disease, food sensitivities, anybody who has had histamine and mast cell issues for a long time, autoimmune conditions, any type of chronic health disease. Another big driver of this is dehydration. No. Could this work be as easy as drinking a glass of water? Yeah, dehydration. Dehydration can really be a big contributor to your cell's ability or struggling to absorb glucose. That's one of the pieces. There's other things too. Hidden disruptors, one of the biggest ones that I see with clients is missing nutrients or depleted nutrients. Here's why. General rule, your body prioritizes stress over everything else. Okay, magnesium. Everybody needs magnesium. Everybody talks about magnesium all the time. With good reason, we need it for many different things. Do you know what needs it most? Your stress response. Do you know your body will prioritize every magnesium molecule coming in to answer the stress response before she uses it anywhere else? Oh. So that means if you're going through the stress response, good news, your body's going to prioritize it. Maybe you should too. But now you're going to be short on magnesium for some of the other work you need in the body, potentially. And that can set you up over long term, that can set you up with nutrient deficiencies driving some of that internal stress going on. But there's a couple of things to understand. Are you depleted in these nutrients because you're not eating them? Oh no, I'm eating them, Luca. Great. Okay, I love that for you. Can you break them down into your system? Oh, I hope you can, because it's nice to eat them, but can you break them down to get them into your system? Also, can you get them into the actual system? If you can't quite break it down, you're not going to get anything into your system other than a bigger chunk of food that your immune system goes, that's not food. I don't know what that is. Get rid of it. Let's move it out. Yeah. So that's the second one. The third one was get your nutrients into the system. Another layer here, the more you're triggering this stress response, the more of these nutrients you're going to prioritize over to stress. So now you're actually going to be depleted even more for whatever it was that you needed. So this is kind of a compounding one that can get a little bit worse over time. It's not the end of the world. But microbiome imbalances, when your bacteria are out of balance, they actually alter some of that biochemistry of blood sugar balancing, and they can make blood sugar harder to balance. So, hooray, they have an influence on how you metabolize carbohydrates, how your insulin works actually, and how your cravings are triggered. So the microbiome is a really big piece. It's worth it to invest in good work to the microbiome, especially if you're struggling with blood sugar issues. It's not what we're doing in today's class, but I think long term, it is something that is certainly worth putting some efforts into. So may I propose, your symptoms are clues, they are not failures. What if we saw your symptoms as feedback? I think that's a really nice first step. First of all, to de-escalate the stress response. You're not broken, right? And there's a really clear reason why I do it. For sure, it's to turn off the fear response and to more work and see that your body's working with you. What if you see your symptoms as feedback? And I propose we do this. Yeah. So cravings, crashes, irritability, anxiety, wired but tired moments, histamine flares, sensitive digestion, hot flashes, autoimmune issues, skin stuff, whatever your symptom is, it's feedback. So if we tie it back to that lantern, your body is not broken. The flickering light is the way your body is asking for steadiness. Oh, we could do that? Yeah, we could do that with food.